Yo, yo, what's up, good people? The boys from the Phantom Geek Zone, we're back again with another dope episode. As usual, I'm Izzy,
I'm Riyaal.
and today we're continuing with our MCU recap series, and we get into an interesting turn, if I can put it that way.
Golden Age.
Yeah, man,
Getting into the
we're
golden
gonna
age now.
touch on Spider-Man Homecoming, and I say interesting because this is suppose there was a introduction already into Spider-Man as far as the MCU's version, but this is now where we delving deep into his story and
Yeah.
seeing what this iteration has in store for us. And it's definitely one of the ones I'm always more keen to go and revisit. I mean, surprise, surprise, I actually don't watch these movies as far as just going back in my spare time and that sort of thing. However, I of course have those I enjoy, those I didn't, and everything in between. But the few times I go back to watch this one, man, it stays delivering. And this one, this time was definitely no different. I don't know what your perspective is, but yeah, we'll get into all the specifics of that. But yeah, just very briefly overall, this rewatch, was there maybe any changes in your perspective? Does it hold up? You still enjoy it?
Honestly, it's been so long. I can't remember what happened.
Oh wow,
I know
okay.
Michael Keaton was the Vulture.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know Tony Stark was in there.
yeah.
I know the characters, but like in general, I couldn't remember the story too well.
Okay.
So it was kind of a pleasant rewatch just to see how everything is.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, as you said, like I still felt excited about seeing it, but also like when you're watching it for the series, you find stuff that's a bit on the nose. So little homages to the previous Spider-Mans here and there
Yeah.
that I picked up, maybe intentional, unintentional from the writing perspective. But yeah, so I really enjoyed it. Really fun movie to watch.
Yeah.
And as we always say, it's a nice change of pace because I think Civil War would have been
Yeah, the previous
the
one.
next previous movie, and that's quite a big ensemble type of movie. Where here it's now we're fleshing out these new characters that we're learning about. So really enjoyed it, and liked the storyline as well. It was simple,
Yeah.
but it hit all the right notes for me.
Yeah, man. As I said, I definitely, enjoyed it quite a lot. And something that stood out to me, we're in this, weird space where comic book movies are concerned. Fine. And maybe this is a comeback season, So as at the time of recording this, we're talking about where Superman dropped not too long ago,
Yeah,
Fantastic
Fantastic
Four
Four.
dropped not too long ago. Um,
Thunderbolts,
yeah, Thunderbolts was
quite
also
recent, yeah.
around this year. For some reason, I feel like there's maybe one other that I'm missing.
Captain America. Dropped this year as
Nah,
well.
yeah, but that one isn't. It wasn't
Yeah.
as well received, right? But the point being, perhaps things are getting better. Before then, we're in this years-long period where one after the other was just disappointing, and of course, everyone was just clamoring for the good old days. So
We're currently in the talking about the good old
basically,
days. Yeah.
that's what I'm getting to. The fact that we are right in that peak, man, of how great, these comic book movies used to be. And part of my excitement with this recap series is just getting a feel of not only how great the movies were, but how well they've held up in all the years. Especially when you get surprises as far as you always knew
Yeah.
this was great, but this is like
Yeah.
yeah, it almost gets better with time in a sense, So yeah, that whole thing just to emphasize how much I've come to enjoy this Spider-Man movie. Now, one more point on that before we get back to it is the fact that with this possible comeback season, everyone is going on some this is how comic movies meant to be and that whole story. But Spider-Man Homecoming is one of those that proves that we've hit those marks so
Yeah.
many times before. I mean, yes, overall you want a great movie and, just mentioned Civil War and there's so many others, even if you look at, where we stand on our top five and all of that. But my thing is, I've come to notice that a lot of them have a more serious tone, whereas this one is amazing and yet is so fun at the same
Yeah.
time.
It
So
hit the balance right.
yeah, man,
you know?
which is what comic book movies are essentially meant to be. So all that history being established, I'm happy to now get into some of the specifics in terms of what it is that we enjoyed so much. I suppose the best place to start off, we getting our third and current Spider-Man in this live action universe. And we've seen Tom Holland not just in this iteration and Civil War, but we've watched the
Yeah.
sequels and all of that. Yes, we're gonna get into breaking those down specifically, but what's your take at this moment upon having recently watched them again?
I like him as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like just his mannerisms, it just fits into that. I'm still a kid. How can I say? He plays a kid well.
Yes.
And I guess at the time he was just turned 18,
Like,
so he was literally
like,
a kid. Yeah,
2021, somewhere
Yeah.
in that region. Yeah, he was very, very young.
very very
as
young.
well.
Yeah. So basically, he's grown in like this character and him are growing up together.
Yeah.
And it's just if you're going comparing one to the other, very different from the previous iteration of Spider-Man, which is Andrew Garfield's, which is the cool, badassy type.
Yeah.
Whereas here's the quirky teenager still figuring out his life. And I really enjoyed that take because just in the context of Marvel, you're dealing with adults the whole time
Yeah.
and very serious topics, if you will. Civil War, as we mentioned,
Yeah.
that's a whole like genocide.
Yeah, he's in the middle of a political war. In a
There you go.
sense,
Yeah. Whereas here he's more like he's worried. It's more his insecurity. He wants to live
Prove
up to the
himself.
live up
Yeah.
to the expectations. Like, am I on the Avengers, Mr. Stark? Mr.
Yeah.
Hogan, happy? So I really enjoyed the quirkiness, but also you could see the immaturity came across really well. Because you're 15, like. So they put it in perspective. He was 15 and getting threatened to be killed.
Yes.
Like imagine you at 15, somebody coming to you and telling you, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah.
Like, but that really it came across the immaturity as well as the anxiousness, if you will. The anxiousness, but also just the growth in the movie as well. You did see that.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed the casting of Tom Holland, and we'll get into the other characters as well.
Yeah.
The supporting cast as well really played their roles into the movie.
Yeah.
And I think it was a brilliant choice on the MCU to change the tone of the from one movie to the next, where it's very heavy, but now it's a little bit more lighthearted. But as you mentioned, you still got those powerful points that, and they subverted certain tropes that we kind of expected.
Yeah.
Which is good. For one, is the Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben isn't even in the picture, but they didn't kill off anyone in this movie as well. So
Yeah. And bold to not even mention Uncle Ben, like period. So
yeah. Uncle Happy.
Yeah.
So what's your take on Tom Holland?
No, man, for me, look, we can't shy away from the fact that he had the benefit of being given arguably, or at least one of, the greatest Spider-Man scripts ever.
Yeah.
There is that. And, he's in the middle of this multi-billion dollar. I mean, it's like multi-billion dollar because you're talking Sony and Disney,
Yeah.
So he's in the middle of that machine. It's the Avengers, timeline that he's in. And yes, the structure around him was like set up in such a manner that it was his to screw up.
And peak popularity of MCU.
Yeah, everything was at the convergence of being
Perfect
the
storm,
best that it could be. However, this kid still brought a whole lot to the mix, man. Because if anything, right, funny enough, you talk about the pressure he was facing as far as trying to prove himself to be an Avenger. That's for Peter Parker. But Tom Holland himself had to have gone through something similar. All the things we were saying, as great as they are, they add that much pressure to the mix in terms of, man, I gotta prove myself to be worthy of this.
Industry heavyweights, left, right, and center.
And it's as they say, even in everyday life, that certain things can get you into the door. Talents being one of the most common. Talent can get you through the door, but the rest of it, the dedication, the persistence, the hard work, that's actually what's gonna not only keep you in the house, but prove that you deserve to be there to begin with. And at every single turn, he came through, man, crazy. I like what you said about the fact that he's just a kid,
Yeah.
you know, a child even. And that for me adds so much. And it's one of the elements, and I'm hoping, you know, we'll touch on all of them. It's one of the elements that makes him so great as Spider-Man. Like, yes, guys, there's nostalgia love that we have,
Yeah.
you know, Toby and all of that. But let's put things into perspective, right? As you said, this kid is like 15 years old.
Yeah.
Tony
Sorry, just turned 15.
just turned 15, right? Tony was
Tony recruited him.
like 40 or something in Iron Man
Like,
1.
yeah.
Tony was an
Old
old
man,
man.
yeah.
And if you think of everyone else, you know, Mark Ruffalo's Bruce Banner in Avengers when he came through, homie's got like, you know, his
Grey
grays
hair.
and whatever. These people are grown.
Captain
right?
America's 90 something, you know?
Yeah, dog. He's like, you know, pushing 100. And even back then, he was like an army recruit. But okay, perfect age for being an army
Yeah.
recruit. So all these dudes went through their trials and tribulations as far as the origin stories haven't been fully grown people.
And then you have a war.
Yeah.
But Tom Holland, or not Tom Holland, Spider-Man, Peter Parker,
Mm-hmm.
only got his powers 6 months ago, and he's busy fighting Captain
Yeah,
America.
he's
you know?
fresh off. You know, he's fresh off. That spider is still warm wherever the hell it's buried. You know, so I think we need to emphasize all of those things, and I love the way the story went about highlighting those elements. You know, some that stood out to me were when he was escaping that hotel where they were set up to do the decathlon. When he was leaving and everyone else was gonna go swimming, they showed him in his suit, mask off, and he's watching them have fun.
Yeah.
And you could tell it's not just, hey, I hope they don't catch me. But nah, he's like, I wanna be there. But unfortunately, given the scale of what these guys
Yeah.
are doing as well, I have to abandon, you know, my post and try and save the world, basically. One of the others, I mean, as you said, you know, you touched on it slightly, but the whole thing of being threatened, you know,
Yeah.
as far as death is concerned, homie pulled out an entire gun and held it right in front of him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, as the first thing, before he even gets to the threatening speech, he's just like, I'm going to show you I mean business from the get-go. And then even in subsequent scenes where he's like, okay, since you don't want to listen and stay the hell out of my way, I'm going to actually kill you. You know, he tried to crush him with the whole S building.
yeah.
And then even when they were fighting, you know, they're outside of the plane. And school, Nate was like, yo, man, you don't want to be a high school dropout.
And even that, they're showing how the effort. Like, he dropped out of robotics, he dropped out of band,
Yeah.
dropped out of the decathlon team.
Yeah, all the
You know?
stuff that, you know, kids do.
He's
and
not hanging out with friends because he's going to get a call from the Avengers, maybe,
Exactly.
you know?
He's sneaking out every night, you know, trying to prove himself, catching criminals left and right. What was the other element now? Damn, I lost it. But yeah, I think at this point, you know, the point has pretty much been, you know, clarified as far as this is a literal child facing issues that 90% of the grown men
Will
in this
never-
world will never
Yeah.
get anywhere close. And on top of that,
He doesn't have a father figure.
and yeah, Tony, I mean, just
It
got
just
into
got
his
into
life.
life,
You know,
yeah.
Aunt May is the only one, and there's even that relationship between the two of them as well. It's like she basically raised him, and then now he's kind of, you know, coming of age, trying to decide what path am I gonna take. Definitely not one that she would have wanted for him, but again, he's taking the weight of the whole world and putting it on his shoulders. So yeah, I could go on and on, but Tom Holland, man, did a fantastic
Yeah.
job as far as this movie was concerned. And then I want to get right to Michael Keaton, man.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, as the Vulture in
Yeah.
this. And
Michael
I mean,
Keaton.
I don't know if it's the first time he's played a villain. Maybe one of the darker villains, or let's say popular, you know, because yeah, I'm not well aware of any other roles he's taken prior to this, which were, you know, like a normal guy or a good guy. But how amazing was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you don't realize, like, it's a very Spider-Man centric movie. So it's not as much as you think he doesn't feature as much as you think he does in the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
But it feels like he's
It's
present
still his
throughout,
movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the sadism came across really well. And just when he killed the first Shocker, he's like, I thought that was the anti-grav gun, and he just didn't blink 2 bits. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
didn't give 2 shits.
Yeah.
And he's like, so like very sadistic, but kind of justified as well, because it's like, you know, you invested your whole life, and the government just comes and like, no, sorry, my guy.
The same people that caused the mess are now being paid to clean it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. And I guess you can see kind of the descent from the, I've got my guys, I need to pay them, to like,
Yeah, just that standard blue collar dude, and then
getting to become the killer that he is. I don't know. It's just I bought in.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I bought in. Yeah. So I can't say more than that, because
man. Michael Keaton, and that's the one thing about homie, like big, small role, whatever it is, you know, he will always bring it, no matter what. But again, with the benefit of having such a dope story, I mean, how many times have we spoken about villain motivations? And in this particular case, I feel like, hey, man, any one of us could have been in that situation.
It's so easy. I want to look after my family.
That's the thing, man. If there's one person you should never, ever mess with or even underestimate as far as the lengths that they will go to, is someone who's just trying to feed their family.
Yeah.
Right? One thing a lot of, criminals, it's a matter of, nah, man, I'm hungry, I'm trying to feed myself, I'm trying to, make it one day to the next and all of that. But you throw a wife into the mix, you throw a daughter into the mix, let alone just a child. That then becomes a whole other situation. And even, delving deeper into where his story began, this guy, he got himself a little hustle, like, man, a legal one even, not to try and add any negative connotations by using the word hustle. But we know in 2012, there was that fight with the Chitauri.
The Avengers.
I mean, the Avengers fighting
Battle of New York,
Yeah. So now it's their scraps, basically,
And it's quite cool how they show, like, after that battle, every other battle, they're salvaging stuff.
Yes, that's one of the highlights, that I want to touch on a bit later. But essentially, right, so, all the Chitauri gadgets that are all over the place now, these guys are being paid to haul it up and then, scrap for, what's this?
Self-scrap,
metal for cash type of thing, right? And then the government is like, actually, from now on, we're going to do this thing. So, no notice, screw your contract. Because homie's like, nah, I've got a contract. He's not even like a vulture in that sense, pun unintended. It's a matter of, this is fully legal and sanctioned, and they went and cut everything with the
they cut him at the knees.
And we mentioned the family, right? But what tends to be important to, a lot of business owners, not all, is also the notion that I've got other people working for me, trying to feed their families as well. So there's a whole lot of mouths that I'm responsible for feeding. And now that's just being pulled, out of our sight. And it's like, what the hell else are we going to do? Clearly, these dudes also don't exactly have many options, as far as, okay, I'll pivot into this or that. So with that little crate of goods that they still had, they built this, evil empire. And I also like that you mentioned the notion of his descent, into that villainy madness as the movie progresses. Because that's also another thing I picked up. I was like, actually, he wasn't like some...
he wasn't a killer.
Stone Cold Killer. A killer or just some, bad guy for the sake of being bad or whatever. He kept getting pushed and pushed into a tight corner. Granted, at some point, and I feel this way with everyone who does crime, and says, it's for the family and all that. There's definitely a point where it's like, once you pass here, you kind of addicted to this, So we definitely cannot shy away from that. However, that all being said, I'd still feel like his motivation was, definitely well established. His portrayal was amazing.
Done well,
And again, that scene in the car.
Yeah, just brought the tension up to like 12.
For me, I mean, I've said this plenty of times before, and I'll say it every time this movie comes up, that I remember watching this in the cinema and literally sitting at the edge of my seat. Because as soon as it clocked in his mind, Liz was busy talking.
That scene, Liz.
Working with, Tony Stark in his internship, and then, he also knows Spiderman. And it's like, really? And then, like, I was at the party, nice house, lots of windows, He's like, but you disappeared. No, I didn't disappear.
Like, in Washington, you went in the lift, but you were at the ground.
At the decathlon, you disappeared.
And that scene was how can I say, it was unassumingly funny, because it's like she's just giving away
The
all
more
the
she
secrets,
says, it's like, yo!
and then it's like,
yeah, yeah. He's trying to deflect, but there's only so much that he can say.
and then obviously Peter, you can just see like she's
Yeah.
getting paid. It's
Yeah.
like,
It's like on both fronts, right? He's getting more and more scared that he might be outed. Whereas homie
already
cracked
figuring
it
it out.
like
Yeah.
right at the start. And now he's just kind of almost getting more and more frustrated. You know, it's not like a boiling anger sort of
Yeah.
thing, but it's just setting in.
He's seething. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, he's just seething. He's like, what, really? And you just see him watching him there in the rear view, and then you even see the green of the traffic light reflecting on his skin. And she's like,
okay, that's
Dad, we gotta go. But he's so fixed and focused on this
Yeah.
dude. He's like, wait, you're the guy that's been, in the same sense that the government has been screwing with his bread.
Yeah.
Spider-Man then stepped into that role. So he's like, wait, it's you? Incredible, dog.
Yeah.
So yeah, that scene for me is what took this from a good movie
Yeah.
to a great movie. You know, the speech that he gave him upon arriving there, like it was everything.
Yeah. And
it
then
was everything.
Peter Parker is Peter Parker. He's always gonna be the hero.
And the fact that there was that tug of war that he went through, emotionally speaking, because homie's like, now go in there, show my daughter a good time, but not too good, you know?
Or it's like,
damn
she
it.
looks beautiful, right?
Yeah.
That's the right answer.
So he gets out the car, he steps, into the dance hall.
And that's the thing, right? He's a villain, he's a killer, but he's still a dad first,
Yeah.
which
yeah.
makes him a little bit more relatable.
Because he also said the only reason why he's giving him that one off is because he saved his daughter's life.
Yeah.
So as much as he doesn't want to let him go and possibly, have him screw up future plans, he's like, you know what, for this. And he said quite like, guys like us, like, as a man. And so he's also got that thing like, hey man, take care of your people,
Yeah.
do what you gotta do, whatever it is. So I also appreciated those elements just coming through. And the culmination of it all at the end is Peter's like, fine, maybe I should let this go, let me go in, try and dance. But similarly
Yeah.
to Iron Man and Happy telling him, hey man, stay on the sidelines, just chill, we'll call
I
you.
can't do that, yeah.
He can't do it. And I think that's the one last thing I wanted to say about the whole element of Peter Parker, being this young here. Stan Lee said the reason why Spider-Man in particular wears a mask is so that his enemies don't see his fear on his face.
Oh, yeah.
And if you think about it, it's only important to him because he's a kid. Everyone else, okay, it's the identity that comes
Yeah.
first, whatever. So, which again just goes to emphasize, how much this guy is taking on despite being so little, but also his heart. Because for anyone else, it's like, nah, man, I got these abilities, but I'm scared, so I'm not going to do it at all. And him acting in spite of
Yeah.
the fear, turn after turn.
And he portrays the fear so well.
Yes, dog. Whenever this kid's acting, dog, like, I don't know. Look, yes, he's a child actor. He started early. You can name so many people that started early or even earlier, from infants, damn near. But there's just something, man, that he has. And he certainly
intangible.
brought it. It also shows, I suppose, the seriousness that the actor had for this role. Because some people might just phone it in. It's
Money
a superhero
trap,
movie and whatever. Yeah. But so finishing off the point with Michael Keaton, right? He's like, okay, let me go in and dance, let me not disappoint her. I know she's got a crush on me. She knows I've got a crush on her. Like, there's something brewing here.
And I'm just a kid. Let me enjoy my...
Let me be a little kid, dog. This is homecoming. Let me embrace it for once because I've abandoned so many other, kid elements. But he was like, nah. And even that scene where he's just running down the hall, but every time I see it, it's like, get all these shows, man. So, yeah, the two of them, I think one last thing is that they were such a great pair as far as opposing forces, that whole
They
hero
contrasted
and villain
well, yeah.
and played off each other very, very well, But any other elements that you wanna, give some shine to?
I mean, we can just go off the characters. We like Ned.
Yeah.
Ned's like the perfect complement to Peter Parker, but also kind of like the voice of reason as well. Because as you mentioned, he's like, yeah, you're gonna drop out of school, or like, I'm gonna be your man in a chair. yeah, and just him being the man in the chair was quite a cool experience because he's like, Peter is as clever as he is and we know him to be. And it's like you have training wheels protocol on your suit, like, you know, things are being hidden from you.
Yeah.
Hack the phone and, you know, even like it shows the youth between the two of them. They didn't know how to, the indicator on,
On the
on
car,
the car.
they had to like Google, for the headlights, and the guy's like,
Yeah.
just turn the knob. I'm like, it's that
It's simple, yeah.
I thought it was gonna be some complex. I'm like, no, it's the most basic thing. Just turn the. But
So like, you know, at each point like that, it was just like, it was fun.
Yeah.
I guess here as well, also just subverting the idea of Mary Jane to Michelle Jones, you know, different MJs, but still MJ.
Yeah.
Because we're all used to, you know, Kirsten
Classic
Dunst,
Mary Jane Watson.
red hair, all that. So just subverting that was quite interesting, and yeah, it pays off later down the line. Aunt May, give her a shout out.
I mean,
you know,
come
to
on
May.
now. Yeah.
And also just Tony and Happy just being those central male role models and figures for Tom Holland. Not Tom Holland, Peter Parker.
Peter Parker,
Peter Parker,
yeah.
Tom Holland's the actor. Especially like Tony always like, you know, came in at like key moments.
Yeah.
So the first one, I'm trying to remember it now.
As in when he first appeared, or because he said
the
suit
first saving,
when he fell in the lake.
Yeah. Okay, in the lake, yeah. And then the second one, obviously, at the boat.
Yes.
And also like, you know, when Tony's monologue is like, who do you think believed you? I believed you. I'm the one. Who do you think found the FBI? It's like, you know, and Tony was like, Tony as well. It's quite a small role, but it's just like so much weight to it because it's like, you know, I want to break the cycle. You know, and that's cool to see that Iron Man's growth coming and playing across into the movie and trying to mentor Spiderman, which I really enjoyed. Like, yeah, because I mean, we said this from a couple of other movies. You know, there was not that central. I think like for Shazam, that central mentorship role, and it came across well here, even though it wasn't as focused. So shout out to Tony Stark and Happy Hogan. Just being the the role models, if you will. Because even though like Peter Parker's like, you know, I don't know if these guys are even listening to me, and you see the messages like just not unanswered. But when the conversations happen, it's like, why aren't you at school today? Why are you in Washington DC?
Happy said you dropped band, and he's like, what about that lady who bought you the churro? And
you know, so they're there watching, but they're not there in present. So that was a nice little touch there. Any other characters? A little bit of an Easter egg would be Donald Glover being Uncle Aaron. So,
talking about his nephew in the
his nephew being Miles Morales. So that was quite a nice Easter egg there. But in terms of characters, I think that's me. I don't know if anyone else you want to shout out?
Those are definitely the standouts. It'll be more maybe adding a bit more here and there as far as, you know, the people you've mentioned. I certainly, love the relationship between, you know, him and Tony. As you said, you know, you mentioned the word, you know, pay off a couple of times, and I'm like, it came through in so many different aspects. This being among them, you know, the conversations that Tony would have that allude to him having, you know, paid attention to everything that was said and done before. And also, why am I losing the other one now?
but also, you, like speaking on that while you get it back, is you see the growth of the relationship throughout the movie. Where at the beginning you see with that like when he's videoing them, and then Tony goes to open the door, and then he goes for the hug.
He's like,
no, it's just opening the door. So, but then you can see. Like then Tony saves him the next time, and then he saves him again, but this time he's there in person. You know, so you see their relationship grow as well, which is quite cool.
And I mean, I think it's very, you know, important, you know, you mentioning Tony's growth, because I might argue, right? Perhaps what's that growth? We'll see when we actually get to Endgame. But that possibly being the other one, this may be the one movie where we saw the greatest growth in Tony since Iron Man 1. Because with all the others, right?
Yeah.
From the Iron Man sequels and even the Avengers.
Yes, yeah.
It's a one step forward, two steps back as far as Tony's evolution. Whereas this one, it was a one-way train
Yeah.
in the right direction. So I picked up on that. I was like, damn. You reference the speech. He's like, yeah, man, I'm trying to say, look at me now. I sound like my father. He's
Yeah.
like, yeah, my dad didn't really give compliments
Give
and
me
all
the
that. I'm
time
trying
of
to
day.
break that cycle.
Cycle,
I was like,
yeah.
this is not even his son, dog. Like, they just met. He's practically a colleague. But when he then says, hey, man, if those people had died, it would have been on you. And if you had died,
A bit on me.
it would have been on me. And again, spoke on Tony's, Tom Holland's acting.
The one-liners here.
Tony's acting in this one,
Yeah.
nah, dog. In Age of Ultron, I'd mentioned that I think I'd underestimated Samuel Jackson's acting chops, and yet he's shown quite a range even
Yeah.
in this comic book space. I think I did mention something along the lines of that in regards to Robert Downey, but I think again this one just took it to a whole other
Yeah.
level, like that. Especially because we're seeing him in a whole other light. Like, how often do you see Tony like actually scolding someone?
And that's the thing, right? We saw a Tony Stark, not an Iron Man.
Yeah. A lot of the times, he'll antagonize the hell out of people,
Yeah.
But now it's, that
He cares, yeah.
scolding on some, I care, dog. Like, what you say, I'm not doing. I've been at it. It's also, at the same time, I'm hella busy, dog.
Yeah.
I've got so many other things. And to try and add this into, my part of responsibility is not the easiest thing to do.
Yeah.
And you aren't making it any easier. So I think that whole, tug of war between the two of them was actually shown
Really well,
also
yeah.
brilliantly. Who else? I think, man, Tony was pretty much the one standout. Happy, I think, I don't know, man. I felt, I suppose I should shoot him bail. It's like, it kind of makes sense for him to be annoyed because he's trying to move up. Hey, he was the driver and then he became
head of
security.
asset management.
Now he's trying to get into asset management, but now he's being relegated to like a babysitter. So I can understand his annoyance because I was going to say, he was a bit annoying, but I'm like, nah.
But is Spider-Man an asset? That's the question.
He is. It's just that he is as much an asset as a burden.
Yeah.
Too happy.
Fair enough.
Yeah, the Avengers are not dealing with all the other stuff. He just comes in over there to help save the day, and then Happy deals with the scraps, so to speak. So I'm like, I can understand him being so busy. But yeah, it kind of took me, off sense a bit. I'm like, hey man, Happy's usually also happy and whatever. But I'm like, yeah, if you think also about that scene where Tony explains the career trajectory that Happy's trying to follow, he's like,
That was between us.
that was the two of us, like, it took so much for me to come and, even reveal that to you. And like, yeah, damn. And Tony's clearly not paying no mind. So I was like, so I actually can understand, why homie was the way that he was. Shout out to Ned. He also had his annoying moments, but again, it's like, dude, you find
Ned,
out your best friend has these amazing superpowers, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, y'all are nerds in the school, and this is your chance to kind of get into
You don't
a
even
cool
have
guy club.
friends.
So yeah, I appreciate that quite a bit. Their friendship and
The
dynamic
friendship dynamic comes
was
across really
amazing,
well.
man. And MJ, I think, is the last then character I want to touch on. The only thing I want to say is I was actually so impressed with how reserved they were as far as her character was concerned. Because obviously now when you think back, it's like, Spider-Man, MJ.
But it's just it's just a handful of moments. That's it.
a dog.
And
They
quite-
even say direct words.
Yeah,
and,
like snarky comments or something. It's like,
It wasn't even because the classic will they, would they thing is like, they are friends.
Or she was a bit on the nose,
nose,
like, why are you leaving? Or like,
Yeah,
that
but
scene,
here they were like, no, we're not going to do
somewhere
that.
to be,
Will they, won't they?
they,
No. They're just in the same vicinity. They go to the same school, so that makes perfect sense. But yeah, this one's over there, this one's over here. I'm like, damn. And even the whole thing of
It's
like having Liz as that entire crush throughout the movie, and then she's out the way because she moved because her
physically
dad,
moved,
went to jail. And so I'm like, yeah, actually, it didn't seem all, convenient and all of those funny things. And then I think one more thing with the characters, back to Vulture quickly, just that to emphasize, we touched on it a little bit, but to emphasize the subversion again of the expectation as far as this guy is the dad.
Yeah.
And then when you watch it knowing that, you realize how they planted the seeds, when they were looking for that little explosive, the dude was like, can you imagine what the boss is going to say if he finds out where we are? And it's because they're at his daughter's school. So it's like, damn. That was pretty, incredible. But for him to open the door, and then it's like, whoa, what are you doing here? And then he's
So I
the
guess
father,
there's a
like,
shock factor if you watch it the first time, but then
yes, the
what
next
is
time
it?
around.
There's a thing in theater they call it like it's like the dramatic irony of knowing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know the term,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. It's like you as the audience know,
Yeah.
they know, but the main character doesn't know.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So I think that's the right terminology.
Yeah.
Anyways, but just on the rewatch, it's like so like,
Yeah,
But as you
those
said,
moments are so satisfying.
You pick it up now.
Yeah, they become so satisfying as you see, all the seeds that come through. One other thing I want to touch on is, maybe let's see, we basically, highlighted the key characters. Any other highlights you want to give some shine to?
Character-wise, the cameos, you've got your Captain America cameo there.
Oh, yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
yeah. So, you're in detention, huh?
Yeah, that one. What I wanted to give a bit of shine to is why don't you stand on a ledge and shoot your webs as far as you can?
Okay.
Which is a nod to
Up,
first,
up, and away.
yeah. It's a
Okay,
nod to
I
the
missed
first
that
Spider-Man.
one. I missed that one. Yeah. Let's see actually how many we can pull up, because you said you picked up on a few.
Yeah, so that was the one I picked up, and
Yeah.
then the elevator, obviously.
The kiss.
Yeah, not even. Oh, the kiss, yes.
Okay, so
definitely
maybe-
the kiss.
yeah,
but the elevator itself, because remember Gwen Stacy died in the
Okay.
elevator.
Yeah.
And he saved.
the catch with that. Yeah.
So those are the three main ones I picked up on. I don't know if you picked up on any
the
others.
kiss for me, yeah, because as he's now hanging upside down,
Yeah,
in
it's
that
like, why don't
classic
you kiss
pose,
her? Yeah.
and Karen is like, yeah, go ahead and kiss him. Like, see what y'all are doing. There's definitely the wings when they were flying and destroying the pillars before crushing Spider-Man. There's a scene where it flies towards him and then he does a flip.
Oh, okay,
That's
yes,
that Green
yeah,
Goblin
yeah,
callback
yeah,
that I
yeah.
picked up there. The other one, obviously, they were very on the nose with. Ferris, I haven't watched Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but I mean, I know it's a classic
Yeah,
and whatever.
yeah.
So as he is chasing, when he left the party and was chasing those guys,
Yeah.
as he's busting through all those backyards,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they showed it on the TV. Ferris Bueller was doing
Yeah,
that.
oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
when
okay.
he said, "Oh, great movie," and he's like swinging by, that's happening in the story. I was like, "Oh, that's a very direct one."
Yeah.
So without that, literal reference, I actually wouldn't have even known that's where it came from.
Okay, I missed that one. Yeah.
There's like one or two others. Hopefully they'll pop up, as we break down the rest of the movie.
The boat.
Yeah.
When he's holding the
Yes.
webs, it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
very
yeah.
similar to the train
The
scene.
train scene
Yeah.
from Spider-Man 2. And speaking of which, that pose, so I forgot the technical term for it, but something along the lines of, it's like the Jesus pose, basically. And you see it a lot, well, yeah, comic book movies more than anywhere else, but you can see it in other movies. And in short, they basically use it to highlight a hero in the middle of a sacrifice. So Superman, I think Man of Steel in particular, they also had it. I don't know if it was after they had like nuked him with a missile or what, and then as he's falling, he kind of falls like
in the sun.
Yeah. So the whole sacrificing yourself for the
Okay.
other people. So take note now. Every time you see a hero with his hands spread, it's usually at the moment where he's at his most heroic, basically.
Okay.
But yes, definitely call back to
Yeah.
that trade scene
what
from
was it,
Spider-Man
one,
2
two,
with the train and Doc Ock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, the others will see if anything does jump to mind. Outside of the characters, then any other highlights you want to get to before we start to nitpick?
Well, you wanted to mention the highlights with the continuity of the movies.
So for me, yes, shout out the specific element of look, we know when it comes to Age of Ultron, even Winter Soldier, they basically speak to previous events in the movies.
Yeah.
But that's always been tied directly to the heroes. So with this one, I like that they're basically spreading it to the rest of the world.
They
if you will.
fleshed out the universe.
Yeah, so it's now normal citizens that are interacting with, Chitauri weapons and whatever, but
Yeah.
like remnants from past events, and not just, like scolding the Avengers because you destroyed this, you destroyed that. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, everyone in their normal day life is still interacting with the consequences of what these guys do. So it just felt like driving it home, but kind of in a different direction. So I appreciated that element. The suit that Spidey wore in this
Yeah.
one, what you think?
I liked it. I liked. What did I like? Well, it's very like simple design. It's what you know Spider-Man to be.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't realize he had the wings.
Yes, yes.
And I was like, that was a nice little touch there.
Yeah.
I liked how Tony made the suit, so he dictates all the rules, and you think it's just a suit, but it's actually
Much more.
like an Iron Man. It is an Iron Man suit. That it has thermal heating.
Yeah, dog. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. He's needed that once or twice before. So.
But also just Karen, like the AI. I don't think there's been a movie, maybe besides Iron Man's, where the AI has like had so much character and added to Peter Parker's quirkiness.
Yeah,
because she's matching it as well. It's like, why didn't you tell her now?
Yeah.
It's perfect time to kiss her.
So who's Liz?
Or it's like, should I rerun training protocol? Or like,
it's called the baby monitor protocol.
Or it's like, how long have we been here? 37 minutes. You know what I mean? So like, the AI, it had character.
Yes.
And I really appreciated that about the suit. Like it just, because at the end of the day, if it was a lot of Spider-Man by himself, and then it just added to fill that void in sometimes.
Yeah.
You choose split webs? Why? You told me to choose.
Instant kill. Enough with the instant kill.
Yeah. So definitely a highlight for me was just Karen. I don't know what the acronym is. Tony's always got some smart acronyms.
Yeah, because I also realized we actually picked up Jarvis from the internet. It wasn't, directly addressed in the movie
movie Edith,
itself.
They actually tell you what Edith
is. It's the only one that they did. Yeah, Friday we don't know, and now Karen as well. But
but I would have liked to know the acronym.
I definitely still do, yeah.
But the suit itself also just leads into how crazy Tony is. Because like 576 web combinations. How are you going to remember them all? One.
That is why it was part of the training protocol, in his defense. But
but then also it's like such a high-tech piece thing, but then it's got like an actual hardware tracker built in and that can be pulled out. So like,
I understand, right? But at the same time, how many times has Tony been hacked? So he's never shown to prioritize security. Because I was almost like, nah, but I'm like, dog, you like the 11th person, in the last 6 weeks to hack Tony stuff. But
really, other than that, it had a real feel to it in the movie. There was some scenes where you could feel like the graininess of the fibers, and so I enjoyed that as well. Yeah.
I guess you kind of preemptively answered my question. I like the look of the suit, just except for little bits here and there where it's got a CGI sheen to it.
Okay.
But that aside, my question was going to be, out there in the world, a lot of people were like, man, the issue with this suit, it's too Tony Stark or too Iron Man and whatever. I didn't mind it, especially because I realized it was like 45 minutes or so before he even unlocked all the other stuff.
Yeah.
So for the most part, it was just the suit on its own. So it was a form of an upgrade. It's like an in-movie upgrade. So it's not like he went straight from his home kit and then using, this super high-tech thing. There was an elevation during the course of the movie. So I was like, okay, for that, I can understand. Yeah. And even after that point, he was still Spider-Man for the most part, if you really think about it. So I'm like, he didn't fully go Iron Man with it in spite of all the features that it's got available. So I definitely enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, and then like enhanced combat mode. It's a throwback to, I would say, Civil War. Analyzing fight patterns.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm maybe pulling straws, but
not necessarily, because it's, remember, even in Civil War, it's a part of Tony's theme already. So and as we've seen, even though the suit ups is like a basic example, but I suppose his suits as well, every subsequent iteration has some sort of an upgrade that alludes to what has come before. So I can definitely see that being a thing. Plus, even though he got it before the Civil War events, you can always, remotely upgrade and whatever. So that is pretty much, a quintessential Tony at this point. Yeah. So any lowlights then for you that jumped out?
One more highlight for me is the opening scene where it's just like a phone camera and it's showing everything.
Filmed by Tom Holland. Peter Parker, right?
Peter Parker, and it's just like, and then he's talking, just like, I just stole Captain America's shield. You know,
And it was also very
it's like it's fun. It shows you the tone of the movie
Yeah.
right at the beginning, and it just fits the character because that's who he is.
and the times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because obviously we know Spider-Man is taking pictures of himself,
And
whereas
we're also in this modern era of we want to record everything cool and
Yeah.
whatever. So that's what I
yeah,
mean.
and
Yeah.
then now we've upgraded a little bit where we're vlogging.
Yeah,
our
yeah, he's vlogging
experience.
himself basically. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I really like that.
That was also a nice little dope one for me because it's like it shows that little behind the scenes,
Yeah.
of what he did. Whereas in
But
Civil War, we
because it
just saw the
shows like
bits and
how he got
pieces.
to Berlin as well. It's like,
Yes, he's like, I don't even know why I'm here. Something about Captain America maybe going crazy or whatever. And in fact, back to Captain America appearing in those school home video thingies. When shout out Hannibal Buress
Yeah.
also, when he's like, I'm pretty sure this guy is a war criminal now. I don't know if the first time I understood the reference, but then now, of course, I'm like, oh yeah, because Civil War, the
Yeah.
events that took place, he's running from the government and all. I was like, a nice little dig and whatever. But
and Hannah Boyd, he's a war criminal now. Like that deadpan delivery.
yeah, he's just stuck to his guns. He's like, hey man, I'm just gonna do me, and yeah, y'all gonna pay me. All right, cool, man, whatever. Yeah, I think for me, for the most part, anyway, that definitely would cover it. Then some of the low lights,
But
missed
I'm not done yet.
opportunities.
I've
You
got
still
one,
got
one or
more?
two, one or two, one or
Bring
two.
it, man, bring
Okay,
it.
so one would be the Iron Spider suit. The tease
a
of
tease
it.
at the end,
A
yeah.
tease at the end. So really enjoyed that, and it's really cool what comes through afterwards. Yeah, I think. And then obviously we have to give Peter Parker his flowers for making the decision to be a kid.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that decision. And Tony's like, yo, I think he made the right decision.
Yeah.
Because he thought Tony was messing with him.
Yeah. And I think, man, it's I suppose one of, if not the quintessential moment that just shows the maturity because it's the one
Yeah.
thing he's been crying for the whole
Yeah.
time.
And
And
then
yet,
when he's given
everything
it to
that
on
people
a
have been
plate,
saying to
yeah.
him has come home, on
Yeah.
some, damn, actually, yeah, let me be a kid, let me just chill and whatever. And I think a lot of it has to do specifically with if not the entire thing, the fact that this guy I just took down, it was a heavy situation to be in. He referred to Liz as my girlfriend. He's like, no, it's found out, my girlfriend's dad is the villain, whatever. I think it was as he was being pulled before homie was stealing from the plane. And now this guy has gone to prison. And don't forget, he almost died. Hey, not just Vulture, but
Yeah.
that fight itself almost killed Peter Parker. So I think it kind of just brought everything close to home as far as, yo, man, this is the big leagues. So don't be in such a rush to grow up. And
Yeah.
this was still in
And,
your
I mean,
neighborhood. At the end of the
Happy
day.
was like, just be your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Yeah. And remember, all of this was in his
Yeah.
neighborhood. So now if you're trying to rush to, the Avengers level and deal
Yeah.
with these, world-ending events and stuff. So I understand the decision and I like how it just made perfect sense. It didn't feel all cliche, like, of course he's going to turn down. Because at the end of the day, he keeps the suit. He still gets to be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So it's not even a loss per se. It's just him taking more of a control and choosing, how
Yeah.
to navigate this journey of his going forward. So I enjoyed that quite a lot. You said one or two
One
more.
more,
So yeah,
and then the last one, like just that scene when he's covered under the rubble, and you see half his face and half
the
his Spider-Man's
mask and then-
face.
Yeah,
It's like, who are you at that moment? It hits. It
Yeah,
hits. Nothing more to say. It just hits you.
me in that scene, it was more about him propping himself up. Yeah.
Get you. I get you. I get
That
you. I
one,
get you. I get you.
almost got me in my feels. Got very close because that's the last element I'd forgotten about as far as the scenes where it just shows that this guy is just a kid
Yeah.
at the end of the day. That was also a pivotal one where he's like, come on, Spider-Man, come on, Spider-Man. And he's just there like about to give up. And then, it was that reflection
Yeah.
that got him to just, get himself, dust himself off and then just keep going. And even the fact that, I suppose one more highlight then from my side, he had his suit taken, whatever. We spoke about how he was trying to live a normal life, but then was like, nah, man, I'm actually going to go back he didn't even have that high-tech suit. And remember
Yeah.
the speech with Tony, right? I think
like,
it's something else I
yo.
wanted to say. It's like, if you're nothing without the suit, then you don't even deserve it, you know? And I'm like, ooh. Hence my saying it's arguably the most mature,
Yeah.
arc we've seen for Tony.
And that's also a
because
throwback to Avengers 1.
Avengers 1, with Cap saying, hey man. And remember, even his response as far as, billionaire, philanthropist, playboy,
Playboy, yeah.
that's kind of all he saw. Was like, okay, this suit kind of, take him to the next level. And then throughout the other movies, we've seen that as a man, he's
Yeah.
become so much more. And now he just wants this kid to get that from the get-go. And there's nothing that annoys any human being
Than being
than
told what to
seeing
do.
your own faults in someone else.
I
Because it's like, I know what this thing feels like. I know why you're doing all of this, but at the same time, I know why you shouldn't be, So it just adds to that. So that, took the scene and, of course, the relationship and dynamic to a whole other level. So, yeah, this Peter Parker / Spider-Man, the heart that he's got,
Yeah.
the guts that he's got, man, incredible.
Yeah,
If
so-
that's it, then
Yeah, you want your lowlights, you tell me what the
for
lowlights are.
Not even. It's just I know that this movie is so incredible. It's very easy to just keep going and going and
Yeah.
going. So I'm just trying to keep it on the key elements of every subcategory, because again, the way it blew my freaking mind, I was just like,
I think it's better on the rewatch.
that's my point, as far as realizing just how amazing it is, even more so than I had thought previously. But yeah, was there anything you felt that, man, I don't know about this element?
Not particularly. Eh?
Yeah.
Because anything I kind of didn't like at the beginning kind of paid off at the end.
Yeah.
You know, like for me it was the quirky immaturity. But then I realized that's the movie.
Yeah.
You know? So I was like, yeah, because sometimes like they do movies, specifically comic book,
Yeah.
superhero movies tend to overdo it a bit, and then there's no payoff. But here there was an actual payoff.
Yeah.
So nothing particularly that comes to mind. I don't know. On your end?
Yeah, even for me, don't get it twisted. It was not like I'm ready to just drop a whole bunch of them. I'm like, nah, man. For the most part, this for me was like a damn near perfect movie. That's
Yeah,
actually
okay.
one of the realizations I came to upon the rewatch, and I'm just like, yo, man, the fact that it just brought so many things, right? It highlighted how great the peak was.
Yeah.
It reminded
good the
me
writing was.
how close we came to losing all of this, because I mean, this was in the middle of the initial 5-picture deal. And once that ended, they couldn't come to agreement. But yeah, we'll discuss that at a later stage. So this was almost one of the last few times we actually got to see, Tom Holland as Spider-Man. And it was just the gift that keeps on giving, man. When you're talking, scene to scene, if you're talking, rewatch on rewatch. So there's very little, if any, faults that I actually have with it. One other highlight, I liked how they played into him being, into Michael Keaton being the Vulture, from the jacket with, the fur neckline. And then I remember the very first time we saw him
he's
after he had
bald.
taken off the suit.
And he's bald.
But he had the crazy hair, which again looked like, the vulture feathers,
Yeah.
because they also have like this weird baldish pattern type thing. I actually want them to do that every time, but then all the other scenes, he had his perfectly combed hair. Like, so dope. But I suppose it's maybe showing him in his infancy, so to speak, whereas he's a little more in control as time goes. As much as I'm going back to the highlights, but yeah, because there isn't really any lowlights, I also enjoyed the weapons that these guys were making,
Yeah.
because they were, I don't know, they were so different, but they were so dope and high tech at the same time. And I enjoyed the payoff of the high altitude vacuum seal, or whatever the hell homie called it, because the whole time he's like, let me do it. And he's like, hey man, forget about that thing. We've got what we need, whatever. And then as soon as you see it, it's like, oh damn,
That's
this
what
thing-
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
I thought it was gonna be something more alien-y. I didn't realize it was gonna be really, like just a cup.
even for me, I'd kind of forgotten what exactly it is.
Yeah.
I know it allowed him to do, his thing on a plane. I thought it was maybe the plane version of that phasing tech.
Yeah.
But nah, that was the same, and then you just do it such that the wind is not going to
yeah.
interfere and all that stuff. I was like, damn.
I was like, that's just engineering.
And that's, my other point, just how far ahead these guys were thinking. They hacked the tracking device of the plane. They had their own decoy drone. And then the whole time Happy's is there like, on course, okay, cool. Pack whatever. I'm like, yo, so an interesting quirk while we're on that with Happy and his move. I don't know if we got the payoff of the stuff that they mentioned. Because Happy said it's Iron Man's old Hulkbuster.
Yeah.
It's Cap's the prototype for Cap's new
shield,
shield, and then it's
Thor's
Thor's belt.
Yes.
And I'm like, I don't.
We haven't seen any.
None of those. There was no new Hulkbuster.
Yeah.
And we already have Age of Ultron by this point. Cap's shield he got from Wakanda. The new one.
It was the two gauntlet type ones.
Yeah,
I'm not a huge fan.
He never got another one, from Tony.
And we never saw Thor's belt.
Yeah, so those things, I was like, how? Not to mention, Miles Morales is still, no word around
but that's
that,
okay.
But
that's okay because he's in a separate universe.
Also, I was going to get to this because Sony wants to, push that whole animation thing.
And please, just continue to push it.
It's in trouble. I don't know if you've seen, but if it's not constant delays, Chris Lord and Phil Miller, who were so instrumental in the first iteration, have left, and so I'm like, hey, I don't know what's happening there, but yeah, well,
okay, that's a story for a different day.
See. Yeah. But not even in a nutshell, I think that pretty much from my side. I don't know if there's maybe any other things that have come to mind since.
I think I'm done.
That is my take. And if nothing else, this at least is one piece in terms of painting that full picture of why I will forever champion Tom Holland as not just our greatest Spider-Man, but just how far above the others that he stands. Are you ready to give your rating out of 10?
Yeah, I would say a 8.5.
8.5, okay. I'm going straight solid 9, man. This felt like such a quintessential comic book movie for me. And there's not too many that you can say that about.
Yeah, so I initially was going to come in at an 8, and you kind of won me over that 50% more. So all that. 0.5, so
for me,
8.5.
Yeah, it's a proper 9. And then let's recap our top 5 before we then discuss where this one is going to slot in, right? So we got Iron Man, Legend here. And then we got Civil War in number 2, The Winter Soldier in number 3, and then I don't know what's going on today, man. I had it, and I just keep losing stuff. There's Age of Ultron and Avengers, but it's Avengers 4 and then Age of Ultron 5. That's our order, right? Homecoming definitely needs a place on this board. I want to hear what you have to say before I drop my bombshell.
Your bombshell.
While you think, my one little low light about the movie, I think as much as throughout the trilogy, clearly they were keeping this home theme. Homecoming, it was mislabeled. Because if you think of the homecoming aspect, even if you try to think of it as far as a metaphor and whatever, I don't see how homecoming fits into this.
Just the dance was homecoming.
But he wasn't even there. He left early, and
but also maybe it's like his homecoming from Berlin and trying to settle in now, because he couldn't settle in after Berlin.
I guess, but I feel like it didn't really connect for me. Could have maybe thrown it as a line. Perhaps could have been too on the nose. I don't know. But yeah, that was my one little quirk. But yeah, back to our top 5. Where do you see this slotting in?
I want to say definitely better than the 2 Avengers. I think I'd watch this over Winter Soldier. Yeah.
Winter Soldier being our 3rd movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Civil War is where I would still watch, I think, Iron Man more. Would I do Civil War or Spider-Man? I think I'd still do Civil War. So I think 3 for me. Yeah. But I'm open to negotiation.
So my bombshell is I feel this deserves to be right alongside Iron Man 1. if we're talking amazing standalone movie, if you're talking amazing origin story, amazing villain, amazing characters, like even with the relative lack of lowlights, which I'll always acknowledge
Yeah.
and say it doesn't mean
There's
there
no
aren't any.
lowlights. It's just we didn't
It's
see any.
either a
Yeah.
memory or just
Yeah.
they were not strong enough
Okay.
for us to keep in the fore. But the nutshell being, if we think of everything we love about Iron Man,
Yeah, kind
it
of
can
came
all
through.
apply to Spider-Man. And the thing is, I understand, right? We're talking Civil War, but even in general, as far as the other team up movies, that team up element kind of puts your
Yeah.
movie a couple notches above from the jump. Whereas this one, yes, there was an incorporation of Iron Man, but we've acknowledged that he was sprinkled in.
Yeah.
Spider-Man definitely held his own throughout this entire movie. And if you think about it, even the fact that Iron Man would make an appearance, but not once did he face off against the Vulture in any sense, because they wanted to keep him to the side and let Spider-Man do his thing. I'm more than happy to say, man, this movie, the rewatch value, just the simplicity of it, and not to say being a complex movie means you're less deserving, but in this sense, the simplicity only adds to the amazingness of it. The fun elements that it has, the serious elements, the nice little balance in between the two. I'm like, nah, dog. And if you think about Vulture being such a great villain in this, he's underrated overall because his name does not get mentioned anywhere near enough. In as much as I don't even know homie's name, but in as much as the alter ego carries a lot more weight than the Vulture himself, but it's still the same person at the end of the day.
I think you're winning me over. I don't think one. I'm happy to do two.
So two alongside Civil War. Is that what you're saying? Or you
No,
wanna
no.
push it?
Push Civil War down. Yeah.
Okay, I thought I was,
Yeah.
controversial, but okay.
Yeah,
So
you're winning me over there.
that would leave us with Iron Man,
Yeah.
Spider-Man: Homecoming, The Winter Soldier,
Avengers 1.
Avengers 1, and then Age of Ultron.
No, Ultron will fall off.
Ultron will fall off. So it's Iron Man, it's Spider-Man, it's Civil War,
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier, and then Avengers 1.
Yeah.
Okay. I can live with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can live with that. That's the
Maybe I'm just gatekeeping Iron Man. I don't know.
Nah,
I'll figure it out.
Iron Man, I know, is
It started it.
we can never
okay,
emphasize its brilliance
Yeah.
fully.
Yeah. But I mean, we're basically done. But it's coming to me now. When did Tony and Pepper get back together?
Hey man, remember on the one front there's the will they won't they, and then once you are, then there's the the breakups, the coming back together, and all of that stuff in between.
And then it's like, do you have the ring? I've had it
like,
since
yo.
2008.
After this break, now we're jumping right to engagement.
Yeah.
So that actually reminds me then of the other low lights that I had.
I know we're changing it around, but yeah.
It's the whatchamacall. So they allude to Avengers 1, which was in 2012, right? Because it literally, starts off with that, the image of the fight in New York. And then they say 8 years later, which is 2020.
Yeah.
But Berlin was 2016. So,
Are you okay?
yeah, their
The
timeline...
continuity was a bit...
Yeah, was a bit crazy. And it's insane because it's by no means the only continuity error that there is, but it seems like the most basic one to fix,
Yeah.
especially if you think of the fact that even shooting wise, and I'm pretty sure they were like kind of side by side and whatever. But yeah. Civil War had even dropped already. Granted, I don't know where they were exactly in the filming, or whatever, but it was just the writing on it. So that's a post-production thing. So surely by then you know your timelines and But anyway,
Yeah, it doesn't take away from the movie.
It is
it's
what
just
it
us
is.
being us. Yeah, but anyways,
That's then I think
that's it,
pretty
yeah.
much all our thoughts on
so
this.
far that was second best MCU movie.
Yeah, in our little recap, and then
Yeah.
we'll see how the order will change as we get to the rest of it all. But yeah, as per usual, shout outs for sticking around this
Yeah.
long. Hit up our Instagram, the Phantom Geek Zone. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, drop a comment. Are we bugging? Are we on it or what? And if you want to bring it as far as the Spider-Man fights, I've been ready for this since day one, and today is no different. But otherwise, that's it from us for today, and
Yeah.
catch you at our next episode. Then,
Peace.
peace.